Shake your hand. I just shake this man's hand now. Thanks. Dr. Batson, round of applause. Firstly, I want to thank God for sharing this experience with you all here today. And everything that Dr. Batson just shared is just a small tip of the iceberg. The reality is, this is the first large meeting in Trinidad and Tobago. And in conversation with Dr. Batson, we want to be here at least every single month where you can actually bring friends, bring family members, so we could actually have him do Q&A. Bring down the people with diabetes. Bring down the people with high blood pressure. Bring down the people who already carded for hysterectomy. So that they could do a Q&A right here before all of us. So not only them would benefit from the information he would have to tell them, but every single person in the auditorium could benefit from the information that he will be sharing. So this is not the end, this is the beginning of something great. And in that conversation, there's a hall not too far from here, on the same premises where the capacity is larger. So we're going to grow from strength to strength. And again, I want to just say, Dr. Batson, thanks a lot for everything you just shared with us. Round of applause. He has a table in white in the back for those who actually want to get more tailor-made information for your situation. He has 4 clinics across Trinidad, 1 in Tobago. So if you have the urge to connect with him directly from all the information that he just shared, ensure you check that white boot before you leave. Leave your contact and your name, and his associates will be connecting with you. But because we're pressing for time, we're going to speak about something called, anybody can guess? Hey, who tell you? Yeah, they say if all you don't finish on time, we'll come and literally stop all the event here today. No? So we're pressing for time today. So that's why I want you all to be excited about the next event we're going to have with Dr. Batson, because this is just the first. And the guy that is actually going to start today's session, he just came from a wedding, right? He came to the front, and I told him, I said, brother, you have a wedding, but you need to be here. So this man literally, I think it's a plane he took while being right here in Trinidad to get here. Took a car. But I asked him to be here because of the success he would have had with us. In 2025, my job is to just tell you all a bit about his story because it's very powerful. His story should empower every single person in the room. And let me start by highlighting to you his age. He's only 24 years of age. And the reason I like him to always come to the front is because he has been in our community for the last 5 years. 24 years of age, in 2025, he took 1 product. Not 2, not 3, not 4. We didn't have any GLP product at the time when he started doing business. And you wouldn't believe, he went to social media. And he took his Facebook, his Instagram, and his TikTok, and this product here. And in 2025, this young man, who is 24 years of age, generated in excess of $400,000 from the comfort of his home on his phone doing online retail sales. Round of applause for that. 24. And the reason I want to reiterate 24 is because the next session, the 18-year-olds in your house, the 19-year-olds in your house, the 20-year-olds in your house, the 24-year-olds in your house, who not paying your bills, rather you paying their bills, who on something called social media. And you won't believe how often they on this thing. Every single day. A matter of fact, when you getting up to go to work, they're checking notifications. When you going to sleep after hard days of work, they're sending notifications. They're on the Instagram, the Facebook, the TikTok, and in my humble opinion, they're doing something called nothing. And you're paying the bill and assisting them in doing something called nothing. I'm bringing up this young man as an example of what is possible, because what is possible for them. Because we have something called an exact marketing system. They're already on Facebook. They're already on Instagram. They are already on TikTok. And let's not forget the young people who is 74 and 73 and not excluded. Mr. Woodruff came up here. He is the youngest team member that we have. 74, he might correct. I think it's 73. But when we started showing people the system of how to literally plug and play so that they could make money every single day, doing drop shipping like business with the Facebook and the Instagram, Mr. Woodruff raised his hand and said, I could do this. We said, of course, and we literally set up an online pipeline for a 74-year-old. And in less than 24 hours, people started messaging and calling Mr. Woodruff for what? Products to buy. But the person who is leading the movement is who we asked to leave our wedding to come and speak to you tonight because of the success he would have had inside of our community. So let me introduce to some and present to others a 24-year-old who is leading the way in our community, following principles of financial literacy, helping other young people, which is most important. This man spent his whole week here in a church session with young people that didn't pay him a cent. He is donating his time, donating his intellectual property to help young people 5 years and above to do what he is now doing. Please put your hands together for none other than Mr. Antonio Patrick. Yeah, come and talk to me. You have a wedding to go back to, right? So, yeah.
Thank you. Blessings, good night. We, how y'all feeling tonight?
Good.
Y'all sure?
Yeah.
I'm going to talk to the left-hand side here tonight. How y'all feeling tonight?
Good.
Y'all sleeping, man. You have to do better than that. How y'all feeling tonight? I feel this I could do better. Middle, how y'all feeling tonight? Yeah, now we're talking about, all they can't let them be tall, yeah? Right-hand side, how y'all feeling tonight? I think the right way, Olga. I think the right way. Awesome. Who fired up to be here tonight? All right, good. So, as Kishan would have rightfully said, I ran away from our wedding. Actually, my brother's wedding. Right? And it just goes to show how important this event is. It just goes to show how important the information that's already shared and the information that's about to be shared, the impact that it's going to have on everybody here. So what I want to do first, I would just want to give yourself a round of applause. And the reason I wanted to give yourself a round of applause is because I always like to tell people this. Anybody ever traveled before on a plane? All right, good. Yeah, that's good. When you go in the plane, right, the first thing they'll tell you is in case of an emergency, you take the mask and you put it on the person next to you, correct? Are you sure? But yeah, that would be selfish. Why not saving the person? What they tell you to do? Save yourself first, right? And the reason they tell you to do that is because you can't save nobody unless you first save yourself. So the mission and the vision here tonight is for you to first save yourself. And everything we do it on biblical principles. And as the good book says, you give from an overflowing cup. But most people try to give from a cup that's not overflowing. And then they end up empty. So the mission tonight is to become an overflowing cup so you can give freely. So I'm just going to start off tonight's sessions with my story, right, and why the information is so powerful. I like to tell people that I've been selling since I was born. I've selling since I was born. I was selling since I was in my mother's belly. When I was in her belly, I was selling. She wanted to come out into the world. When I came out, I was telling her that I was hungry. So I was crying all the time. I went to preschool. I was telling people to become my friends, right? Secondary and primary school, I was selling marbles and water babies. I had more marbles and water babies in my bag than books. I still come out of school with almost subjects. I used to sell in school, and I'm going to tell you what I used to do. I'll go sell somebody marbles. I'll go and play takes with them, take the marble back from them, and sell them back again. Right? Secondary school, I studied business. From secondary school, what I decided to do wasn't even what I wanted to do. So from secondary school, I decided to go to UTT and study engineering. But here's why I decided to go and study engineering. I decided to go and study engineering because my brother, who's actually getting married today, told me that he was going to study engineering. Could have a lot of money in it. So I just decided to go and study engineering. Could have a lot of money in it. Right? And we were taught go to school, get a good education, get a good job, etc. Right? So while going to UTT, I was working in a grocery. Right? And I used to work part-time to be able to go to school. And I was introduced to the space of network marketing by some friends. And when I was introduced into the space of network marketing, it changed my entire life. But not just my life, it changed my family life. But not just my family life, it changed my associates' life. Right? And even while I was going to school, right, at a point in time I told my mom, I'm not doing this thing no more, I'm dropping out of school. Now for all the kids in the crowd, don't tell all your mother that, please, thanks. Don't tell them I tell it to tell you that. Right? Well, I decided to tell my mother that, right? And the reason I decided to do that is because I understood that this is the path that I wanted to go. This is the path that I choose. But the reality is, the point in time where I made the decision to go to UTT, I didn't have that option. I didn't have that information. And it's only when the information was presented, then I was able to take capitability of the information. Now, I'll just tell you a quick story. The people that introduced me to this space, no longer in this space. Right? And the reason I'm saying that is because sometimes people are just there to place you in a position. I'll say it again. Sometimes people are just there to place you in a position. That's their job. Right? And I always tell people I'm so happy and grateful for my friends that we're still good friends that placed me in this position. Because now I get to help thousands of people. Right? So as I say, while going to UTT, I was working in a grocery. I was working from 8 to 8 every single day, 7 days a week, yeah. And I was working for less than $4,000 a month. At that point in time, minimum wage was like $17.50. So I know it is to work hard. And I'm sure plenty of people here know it is to work hard, correct? But here's what I want to do tonight. And here's why tonight is so important. I just want everybody to take a minute and close their eyes. I just want to borrow imagination for a minute. I want you to imagine the job that you've been working 10, 20, 30, 40 years for now. The job that you've sacrificed 8 nights for, the job that you sacrifice your kid's birthday for, the jobs that you sacrifice your health for, the job that you sacrifice, your happiness for. And then I want you to think about getting a call tomorrow saying that your services are no longer needed. I just want you to think about that for a minute. Because the reality is a lot of us think that the source of income that we have today is going to be there forever. And the reality is that's not true. I know people who've had a 8 to 4 and 9 to 5 for years, permanent, get laid off, no longer having a source of income. But not just no longer having a source of income, no longer knowing how they're going to provide for their family, how they're going to send their children to school, how they're going to pay all the bills. Because when somebody fires you, they're not studying your bills, they're studying their bills. That's the reality. And the reason I could speak from this perspective is because when I was working in the grocery, and not a small grocery, a grocery that has over 3 branches, right before Christmas, I remember all the employees in the grocery, people there 10, 20, 30, 40 years, people who build house working there, send children to school working there, getting the message that they no longer have a job. I remember seeing the tears on their faces, crying, because they didn't know what was the next step. And that's why I decided to run away tonight to come and share this information. Because you don't want to wait for something to happen, then to take action. You don't want to wait for you to no longer have a source of income to then go and look for another one. And the reality is, all of us here are limited to time. So it's not to say you could go and get 2, 3, 4 jobs. And that's why I like this industry of network marketing, because you could build a business part-time. You could build something for yourself part-time. So while you're going and building somebody else's dreams, you could also build your dreams. Right? So, as I said, the reason I decided to come and share this information is because this information that you're seeing here tonight changed my entire life. Drastically. As I said, I've always been in business, right? At that point in time, I was selling peanut punch on the road. I was selling clothes. If I could have sold sand, I'd sell it. I was selling everything. And the reality is, I had the desire. I had the work ethic. I had the right actions. But what I was missing was the right information. I remember learning this from my mentor. He said, Antonio, if you take the time to break up the word information, it's 2 words. Info and mission. He said the meaning of mission is action. And we can only take action on the info that we have. But here's the thing. Every result that we have tonight is because of our action that we would have taken. So the life that you're living right now is because of the action that you would have taken. But that action that you would have taken was based on the information that you acquired up until today. Tonight, we are about to give you a different set of information. A different set of information that you could take action on and change your entire life. So I was introduced to this here, it's called the cash flow quadrant, right? And the cash flow quadrant is the 4 major ways that any way you could make money could fall into, right? And the first quadrant we have is employee, right? So an employee is somebody who trades time for money. Simple. We were all taught to go to school, get a good education, get a good job, so we could take care of our families, right? We were taught to go to school, get a good education, so we could become an employee. That's what we were taught. The reality is, because your money is attached to time, it means you're limited to how much money you can make because we are limited to how much time we have. Anybody here have more than 24 hours by chance? Raise your hand. I'm just making sure because I'm trying to get some more. I want to know the secret. So, being an employee, we are limited by the amount of time that we have. And if we don't go to work, we don't make any money, okay? So most people say, hey, I know on this job thing, I don't want to work for nobody, I don't want nobody tell me when to go on lunch, I don't want nobody tell me what to do, I want to wake up when I want to wake up, I want to run my own program, right? So we decide to become self-employed. When you become self-employed, you actually trade one boss for multiple bosses. Because here's the reality, yes, as a self-employed or a specialized person, you're not running your own show. But let me ask you something. If you don't open your show, you're going to make any money? Okay. Yeah. So it means your money is still limited by time, right? Your money is still limited by your activity. Now, the difference between an employee and a self-employed person is you might be able to call more money for your time. So you might be working for $22.50 now, but then as a self-employed person, you can say, my service is $500 an hour. So you can make more money for your time. But the reality is you're still limited by time. Then I was introduced to the left-hand side of the quadrant. So the left-hand side of the quadrant, we have big businesses and we have investors. But here's what Robert said. Robert is the creator of the cash flow quadrant. He said an employee, a self-employed person, a big business owner, and an investor can make $1 million each. He said the employee and the self-employed person will still be considered poor, and the big business owner and the investor would still be considered rich. Anybody can answer that? Why? Because all of them make $1 million. So how to poor and how to rich? The reason why is rich and poor is not a physical state, but a mental state. It's not about how much money you have, but what you do with your money. It's your ability to make, maintain, multiply, magnetize, and literally create money. Right? It's your ability to actually be able to know how to generate and maintain the money that you have. And you know, Jim Rohn said it best. He said, if you was to make $1 million, it's best to become a millionaire. Because being a millionaire has nothing to do with you having $1 million, but you knowing what to do with $1 million. Because you could have it and then tomorrow you don't have it. Right? So he said the people on the left, on the right side are considered poor because even though they have $1 million, their money is still attached to time. If they don't do nothing, they don't make money. What Robert said is we want to be able to move to the left side of the quadrant, right? Big business. A big business is somebody who considered having 500 plus employees working for them. Anybody here can pay 500 people to work for them? I had people working for me. I do the maths, right? I like to do maths. Paying 500 people is like $2.5 million a month. The reason I like this industry is you could build a business with 500 people working with you. Not for you, but with you. And you're still going to get the same benefit. What is the benefit? The benefit is leverage. Leverage. The rich are taught what we call OPT and OPM. The rich are taught to use other people's time, other people's money to make more money. Leverage. I want to point something out to you all tonight. If you don't remember anything, I want you all to remember this, right? We are taught to, I'll say it again, we are taught to go to school, get a good education, get a good job so we can take care of your family, right? So we are taught to give other people our time, our intellectual property, our money, and our energy in exchange for money, right? so we are taught to give other people our time for money. Here's what the rich is taught. The rich is taught to use other people's time, use other people's energy, use other people's actions, and use other people's money to make more money. The rich is taught to build teams. I'll say it again. The rich are taught to build teams. The rich are taught to build systems. The rich are taught to get leverage from a young age. And we are culturalized and indoctrinated to go and work for them. I could trust and believe the information that's going to be shared tonight is going to free somebody. If it free one person tonight, we made a mark tonight. Because we were literally taught to be poor. We were literally taught to think poor. We were literally indoctrinated to live poor. The system was built for that because of the information that we were taught, right? So, B stands for big business owner, as I said, and that's where you have leverage, you build systems, save yourself significant time, energy, and money. And then I stands for investor. An investor is somebody who puts their money to work for them. Your money makes more money for you without you. And yet again, to differentiate, the difference between the rich and the poor is you not having to work for money, but finding a way for money to work for you, right? So tonight you literally have the ability to start a business in over 75 plus countries from the comfort of your home on your phone. Now Kishon would have shared this story, and I remember telling Kishon this. I said, Kishon, around this same time last year, the last 2 years, is when Train to Shrink actually came in the country. Yeah, and some people made a lot of money. And as you say, we didn't have a GLP product, right? So I was telling them, like, I literally feel in the energy because we're literally going to have people making millions with this brand new product that we're about to launch. I'm ready for it to reach. I'm ready to sell. I'm selling people before it reach. Yeah, I'm ready to sell. So trust and believe you're going to make millions with this product. But remember, it's not just about making millions, but being able to keep and multiply the millions, right? So what I want to do tonight as a close off, and I run away back to the wedding, is I want you all to take advantage of the opportunity. Because this is literally a business in a box. A business in a box. It's already designed for you. You don't need a brick and mortar structure. The company gives you a website. The company gives you access to get international payments from 75 plus countries in the US. The company has the warehouses, so you don't have to touch the product. You just get a customer and let the company deliver it to them, right? So, I brought something in my pocket here. Let me see if I could find it. My pocket's tight. Yeah. Pocket's tight. So, yeah, I've got $20 here, right? I'm going to place a deal on the table here tonight before I leave. Anybody want to buy this $20 from me for $1? Just come for it. Anybody want to buy this for $1? Just come for it. You have to come for it? Hey, all you say, dog. Is whoever? You have the dollar? Where $1? Awesome, man. Blessed. And I just want to end off. I just want to end off with these two guys here, right? Because here's the difference between them and everybody else. They decided to take action. They got the information, but they decided to take action. So tonight you're going to get the information, but the differentiator is going to be who decides to take action on the information. So I now have the pleasure of bringing on, my mentor, right? And, I like to tell people, I'm so happy, I'm grateful for him, because I remember when I was introduced to the industry, I remember my mom introduced me to the specific business he was doing. And I told her, I said, I'm not interested in the business. I'm interested in this guy. Because I want to know why he does what he do. Right? And, I could definitely tell you that Kishon has a heart of gold. Like, he's willing to help anybody. He's willing to give you his time, his energy, his efforts, right? And, you know, I remember a time we had a team member house burned down, and, you know, we were just speaking and
function. In order for you to have proper sleep, do you think your gut affects sleep? Yeah? Gut affects sleep. All these people you see suffering from depression,